Everybody will tell you one of the most important things to do in life is to figure out your purpose and to live into that purpose. But what happens when you hit your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, and you still feel like you haven't quite found your purpose? What happens if you're in those age brackets and you feel like you're stuck? You feel like there's probably more to life, but I'm not really sure how to access it. I need something. I need some kind of an eat, pray, love moment, because the way it's happening, the way it's been stacking up for me these last 40 plus whatever, however many years behind you, like, this cannot be it. I am Magogodi, I'm 42 years old, and I am here to tell you life begins at 40. In this video, if you feel stuck, if you feel like you don't yet understand fully what your purpose is, and especially if you're ready for more, if you know and you're hungry in your soul, in your belly, but you're not quite sure, like, how do I get there? I am sharing this video for you because, like, sis, like, that's been me on so many days. That feeling of like, I can't believe I've hit midlife, I'm hitting midlife, and I'm still asking myself these most basic questions, that shame feeling often that we feel of like, I should have had this figured out already. Why am I still asking, like, what, 20-year-old questions? Like, why, like, what's happening? What is life? How come I haven't figured this out yet? I am here and I've made this video specifically for you. Honestly, this video is selfish because it's for myself, for me on those days when I feel that. I want you to be surrounded by these powerful examples of what to do, who to look to, and how they figured it out, and why I definitively believe now that life begins at 40. This video is for you. Hang tight, because it's gonna be good, okay? It's gonna be real good, and there's gonna be a reading list at the end. So let's jump into all of this yumminess.
Hey, welcome to Love on Stage. I'm Magogodi. If you're ready to make sales and spark action when you speak, this is your place. I've helped dozens of leaders choose courage over comfort by speaking with confidence and love, especially in tough conversations. Because listen, public speaking isn't just a thing that you do on stage. It's what you do every time you deliver a work presentation, when you interview for that plump job you deserve, when you negotiate your salary, and every time you sweat bullets during a big pitch. That's all public speaking. It's time to level up your storytelling, because your story matters. So, you ready to speak like a boss? Let's get into your most powerful story.
I need to tell you this story, all right? I need to tell you the story because it's true and it happened to me. I was at a cocktail party in New York City. I'm currently based in Mexico. Hi, my name is Magogodi. If you're new to this channel, thank you so much for being here. You are totally giving me purpose and giving me life. So yes, please, honey, thank you for being here. And let me tell you the story. I was in New York and I was so flawed because I was meeting this person and they're like super fancy, super important. They are the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer of a huge multi-billion-dollar corporation, right? Like this man, like the amount of money that he approves, he makes decisions for from his desk. It's mind-boggling. In any case, the first thing that came out of this human being's mouth, and I can see his face as I'm speaking, he asked me, "What is your purpose?" And I thought that was so fascinating because we're in New York and we're so accustomed in networking events to being asked, "What do you do?" or to being sized up really quickly. And I made a whole video that's about what to do when you feel like somebody is sizing you up in conversations, so you might want to check that out. This wasn't that though. He was genuinely asking me a question of like, what is your purpose? And I came to find out this particular company, has oriented its entire everything around purpose, helping individuals identify their purpose and helping themselves as a collective to work collaboratively towards higher purposes. Not just we're here to make money, but we're here to do things that have to be bigger than us. I bring that up because of how much purpose has seeped into our water coolers, okay? If CMOs, CEOs of multi-billion-dollar corporate entities are now using that word and like leading conversation at cocktail parties that way, you best believe like everybody and your mama has asked you and is interested in this thing of purpose. But what happens when you don't have an answer that feels like it is your lived truth when you're asked something like that, or more importantly, when you yourself ask yourself that question, right? And sometimes we have those days, I definitely subscribe to some of those days, where it feels like I'm questioning, am I living in my purpose? Am I doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing? And like, I don't have forever anymore. I've lived 42 years on earth. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here. So I want to make sure by the time I get to that end, I want to, oh man, I like that to me is such a big deal. I really want to get to the end and feel like, thank you. Just thank you for allowing me to be a vessel and to pour every last iota of what I had out into the universe, into other human beings, and blessing this planet and leaving it better than how I found it. For me, that is huge. That's part of what orients me. And in moments when I feel like I am a little bit lost, a little bit stuck, I'm not sure if I'm on my purpose, I love looking towards other women, and especially other women who show me that life begins after 40. So in this video, we're gonna get into 10 of them, these amazing, like supreme beings who show us what is possible when we let go of these narratives and these broken things that society has told us of like, when you hit a certain age, your life is over if you haven't done X, Y, Z, or you shouldn't bother anymore because people over this age, they don't do 1, 2, 3, 5 things, right? Here are 10 women who prove that life begins after 40. Iris Apfel became a model at the age of 80. She launched her modeling career at age 80. And I'm so here for that moment. As somebody who's always been interested in style, interested in fashion, the amount of policing, quite frankly, that we do towards women and telling them they are either bimbos and models or they're intelligent and check into very specific kinds of careers, that is so old, that is so broken, that is so toxic. We're not here for that. And we're also not here for the idea that like it's only by a certain age that you get to be a model and that your career is done after you turn 35. Iris, like, hello, all day, okay, slaying. So if you're ready to slay, why not do like Iris? Like, she started at 80. Ava DuVernay, did you know that the filmmaker and Oscar nominated and like, oh my God, the levels of brilliance, like, like Selma, the film that she made, I still remember some of the scenes and how they sit in my body still. Did you know though that Ava made her first feature film when she was already 40 years old? I didn't know that, but it's a fact. Look it up. And on the days when you're like, am I too old to pivot careers? Remember, Ava had never made a film until she turned 40, honey. Before that, she was working in PR. I want to talk about Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams launched her campaign that, I mean, I'm gonna just call her Governor Stacey Abrams because the way that she went down. But this video is not about that. She launched that campaign when she was 44 years old. Can you imagine the kind of gumption it takes to put yourself out there on the public square in that particular way and say, like, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, and I'm running. I'm gonna be like the next candidate. It takes so much, and to begin that work at 44, like the levels of kudos. The next 4 names that I'm going to share, I'm a writer, so of course I'm going to bring in all of the writers, Let me tell you something. If you have a book inside of you and you're sitting on it and you think that the train has already left the station and you feel like the only people who get celebrated, the only people who are worthwhile writing books have to be people underneath the age of 40. There's lists like 40 under 40. Like, you really, 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 really need to hear this. These women are so brilliant. They are some of the best thinkers of humanity, never mind of our generation. All of them put out their first books after the age of 40. And when I get up in the morning to write and think of that, it just gives me so much fuel and power and excitement and helps me understand my best work is ahead of me. It's not behind me. Maya Angelou put out her first book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, a memoir, at age 41. Did you know that? Did you know that Toni Morrison not only did a complete career change, right? So she was a publisher before she became a writer. And if you know anything about being in the publishing world, like, those things usually do not mix. People who work in publishing, usually they don't turn around and become writers. She not only completely switched her career at the ripe old age of 39, she also put out her first book, The Bluest Eye, at age 39. And really, her writing, her literary career didn't take off until well into her 40s. So when you start getting in your head about how late it is, how you can't start because you haven't really written before, I need you to understand that this woman had 2 small children that she was responsible for, and she still found a way to say yes to her dream and to become the greatest, full stop, writer, one of the greatest writers that has ever lived in her 40s. Mariama, who is considered like one of the mothers of African literature, Senegalese writer. Her book is called So Long a Letter. If you've ever studied African literature, this is a bedrock tome. Like, this is just one of the things that is part of our canon. She began writing at age 50. Her book, So Long a Letter, only came out when she was 50 years old, 50, okay? So again, if you are somebody who's an aspiring writer and you're over the age of 50, just take a playbook, okay? And how can we not talk about Audre Lorde? Audre Lorde, who is an academic, who is a feminist, who is a revolutionary, who is a total damn bad ass, okay? Her book, Sister Outsider, and most of her most important writing only came to us after she had reached 40. Your homegirl, I am a published author. My book is called Innards, and my book came out the same year I gave birth to a baby. And let me tell you, I was 40 years old, okay? I was 40 years old. It's all possible. It's all doable. Stop telling yourself stories. Stop telling yourself lies. Stop telling yourself you can't. Just do the work and believe and trust and step into this path and this glory land that has been laid out for you by these amazing women. Wangari Maathai is, first of all, if you don't know who Wangari Maathai is, please do me a favor. If you are looking at what's happening in Los Angeles this year and those atrocious fires and the advent of global warming on our planet and what it means, Wangari Maathai was one of the very first early environmental activists to blow the whistle and to say, guys, the thing that is happening is beyond scary, and the people who are bearing the brunt are the people who did not cause a lot of these issues, and there are people at the very bottom of the global pyramid of capitalism, right? She was an African woman, Kenyan. She won the Nobel laureate at age 61. So I want you to understand, like, activism, that's not something that's only for or about youth, especially the kinds of activism that we often think of, like climate activism, as something that's young and sexy and only young people are in. Actually, the pioneers, they started that way when. And a lot of Black women were in that movement, and not all of them got the Nobel Prizes that they deserve. Wangari Maathai was the very first Black African woman to win a Nobel Peace Prize. And when she did it, she was 61. So I'm saying this because it gives me fuel to know at 60, that may be what is waiting ahead for me, okay? I'm not an activist the way that she was, but I'm just saying, like 60, it's only gonna be the beginning for me. And I love this story so much because this woman is the first Black woman vice president in all of the Americas. Do you know who I'm talking about? No, I'm not talking about Vice President Kamala Harris, who I did vote for. I am talking about Francia Marquez. I'm talking about the Vice President of Colombia. Did you know that she became the first Black woman Vice President of any country in the Western Hemisphere at the ripe old age of 40? Yeah, it happened. And like I said, 40 is the very beginning of what your life is. I love Louise Hay so much because of how much she's blessed my life personally. There's a meditation for winding down. Go to Spotify, just Google search Louise Hay night meditation, and I'm telling you, if you play this over and over again, it's not only going to give you the kind of deep sleep that you deserve, but it is just a testament to what it means to stand in your power and glory, no matter what your age is, but especially once we get into our more seasoned years. Louise Hay never finished high school, and at the age of 60, she decided to found the Hay House. Hay House is a publishing group that basically puts out, at the very beginning, they have to have been one of the very first people to put out things that were about how do we heal human beings through literature, through audio tapes, through teachings. They were ahead of the teaching game that we see what I'm doing right now on YouTube. They were doing that way before YouTube even was an idea. And she started this work at 60 years old and kept going well into being 90 years old. That's 10 women who can help you get out of bed every single day if you are struggling with what is my purpose? How am I this big, ripe old age and I'm still asking this question? Listen, purpose is something that is evolving. It is not something that is a one and done. And what I am here to tell you is your purpose begins today. It begins right now. It begins with the intention. It begins with saying yes. Yes, today is the day that I say yes to me and to more and to using my voice and to sharing my gifts. I hope that this video has been helpful for you. If it has been, I already know that you're here on purpose. I trust that because you guys are supporting me in a way by subscribing, by liking, and by commenting. That just completely blows my mind. And I'm a big old age, okay? I'm 42 years old, but life and this YouTube channel, it's only just begun. Thank you for being here.